just visited the Cape Ann Plein Air Quick Draw Competition and Festival in Gloucester, Massachusetts. This whole region, known as Cape Ann, is pretty much the oldest continuously operating and most significant art colony and school of art in the U.S. It's known for its emphasis on the modern American Impressionism style and mostly marine art or nature art scenes from New England, usually autumn or winter scenes. Some of the most famous painters here were Hibbard, Theme, the Groupie family, but there were a lot more who made this region famous in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And that's sort of around the time of Monet, Pissarro, Renoir, Cézanne, and others who were developing the European Impression style at that time. If you're wondering what en plein air is, it's really just the technique of painting outdoors instead of in a studio. Monet and many others would bring a small canvas and a limited palette, and they'd go start to finish with their paintings outside. That tradition is being kept alive today, and the painters who are competing here have been given 2 hours to finish their paintings in any medium they like, and as soon as the big bell rings, they all have to stop and frame their paintings and turn them in for judging. Now, there are a few dozen painters here, and they're given the option to paint anything they like, which is fantastic, but it does make judging pretty hard. In a studio setting or a competition where there's only one subject and the lighting is constant, it's a much easier task to decide a winner. But in this case, all the painters have to pick a spot, pick a subject, constantly reevaluate the lighting, all the while it's super cold, windy, and a little too sunny today, in my opinion. But in general, it's a good time of year to do this, and people have been flocking to this area in particular to capture the spirit of the region, which has seen so many popular artists. To be honest, I'd like to be out there competing, but I don't have any of my stuff with me, and registration already filled a while back. And speaking of stuff, if you look around, you can see that everybody has their own unique set of gear and little tricks up their sleeves to make this process as efficient as possible. 2 hours seems like a reasonable amount of time, but it can be pretty stressful with all the public, media, and some famous painters and judges hovering around. And in addition to the chance to display their works for the public and win prize money, a few $1,000s, artists also sell their paintings at the end of the day. And you can see the prices range quite a bit, but many of them are able to sell for over $1,000 and beyond. If you look around at the quality of the paintings, it's easy to see why these are so valuable to collectors, some of which are from across the country, with a few folks I spoke to from Canada and Europe as well. Now, with AI-generated art pretty much everywhere these days, there are a lot of people talking about how this traditional form of art may disappear. But it's pretty clear to me that people really want to keep this tradition alive. This was my first time coming to an event like this, and I wasn't sure what to expect, but everyone is pretty welcoming and engaged in the art itself. So this was actually pretty fun. A 10 out of 10. And there were events for folks of all ages and even some free painting lessons by expert juried artists, too. It seems these sorts of events are held throughout the country. So whether you get a chance to visit Cape Ann or you go to a local event or just grab a set of paints and go out in your backyard, I highly recommend trying plein air and force yourself to produce a work of art in one sitting and see what you can come up with. Here's one that I whipped up the other day in a studio in about the same time frame. Not quite loose enough to be considered Impressionist style, but definitely in line with the Cape Ann marine-themed paintings you see everywhere around here. Be sure to check out my other art, painting, AI, and education videos in the links below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.